Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of A Bigger Bite, where we take a deeper dive into the movies and television going and gracing our screens right now. We are back. It's been a bit, but we are here to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. We got the OG panel right here. We got myself, we got Amarú Moses, and Bitesize founder Nick Van Dinther over there. And we are going to take a bite out of Jurassic World Rebirth, a dino-sized bite, if you will. But before we start,
if you were going to make that pun on any of our shows, it would have to be on this one, right?
Yes. Rue, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm actually ready to give this movie a little bit of praise. I guess it's not getting much in the movie circles, so I'll be that person. I'll be that person today.
You can be that person. And Nick, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm looking forward to not being that person.
And you'll find out how I feel as we talk about it. Anyways, no, Jurassic World Rebirth. I wanted to love this film. I don't know how each of you felt going into it, but I thought it had the potential to be just before it came out, I thought it might have the potential to be the best Jurassic Park sequel we have gotten. Because it looked like they were going back to formula, which is something that the last two Jurassic World films tried not to do and somehow were worse than every other Jurassic film ever released. So I was like, okay, it looks like they're going back to formula. Solid cast. I've had a saying for years that Mahershala doesn't miss, and then I remember he did the Mockingjay movies, and I was reminded Mahershala does in fact miss. But I'm a big Jonathan Bailey fan, and I'm a decent sized Scarlett Johansson fan. So like the cast alone had me excited. I'm also one of the few people who can claim to be a Luna Blaze fan. If you ever watched Fresh Off the Boat, she was great in that show. So yeah, I was excited, and I'm a big Gareth Edwards guy, and I'm one of the people who loved The Creator. The Creator, especially for what its budget was. I know Rue doesn't love The Creator.
Your takes today are already just fucking weird, dude. Weird.
I love The Creator, just from a technical standpoint. I didn't say story, but from a technical standpoint, how it was able to look, the vastness and scope it was able to create on its budget was fantastic. So all of those combined should have been like a very fun, positive experience for me, right? And the original Jurassic Park writer's back on it, right? I'm one of the few people who can say I saw it twice because I had the critic screening, and then a week prior to the critic screening, I went to that AMC Screen Unseen Cinemark Secret Movie Series, Regal Mystery Movie, whatever you want to call it, where they surprised everyone and made this the secret movie. So I'd seen it twice in a 1 week span. So I had time. If you go on my channel, you can see my out of theater reaction, and then you watch my review and this review, and I'm going to sound fairly different because I know Rue that was one of his complaints about it. And the reason is I had a week to sit on the film, and then I had my second viewing to really solidify how I felt about it. And outside of a stellar performance from Jonathan Bailey personally, and Mahershala being Mahershala, and Luna Blaze being great, I was bored out of my gourd. So
I'm gonna say that like all the positive stuff you said is what I left with. Like I'm with you.
Yes.
I thought it was gonna be it had the potential to be pretty good. It had a cast. It had Gareth Edwards, again, the director of the greatest Star Wars film of all time.
That's a hot take.
Rogue One is amazing.
Rogue One has an amazing last half hour. And Tony Gilroy gets credit for Rogue One. Gilroy gets credit for Rogue One, just saying.
Whatever. Anyway, so like I was with you, and honestly, I was even more scared when the movie started, because that first part when we're getting introduced to the characters, I was seeing what Scarlett was trying to do. I was seeing what Jonathan was trying to do, and Mahershala was succeeding at doing because he's charming. They were all trying to be charming, but every time I was like, something's missing. Something's missing from all of these people, and I'm not really connecting with them I'm connecting with the actors. I'm not connecting with the characters. So I was like, man, this is kind of gonna it's not even gonna be bad. It's just gonna be flat. And is that worse than bad? Luckily, the one person you didn't mention who actually does an amazing job in this film, and from when he and his family comes on, the rest of the time I was like, cool, I'm good with this ride from here on out, is Manuel Garcia Rulfo. I was trying to figure out for the life of me, where do I know this man from?
Lincoln Lawyer.
And I was like, Lincoln Lawyer. Yes, he was amazing.
He was fine.
He might be the best. Him and his youngest daughter might be the best actors in the film. Not in general, in the film as a character doing what they're doing.
And again, I go,
Mahershala is just being Mahershala. Every time the Cottonmouth laugh came out, I loved it.
I'm not disagreeing with that on Mahershala.
Jonathan Bailey was, again,
he was my standout.
Jonathan Bailey, for me, he also felt like he was missing a little something, and so was Scarlett. And I still can't pin it down, but I was like, I could see y'all trying. And you know what somebody posted that I was like, oh shit, that's really, really cool. And I'll say this, as the movie went on and everybody started coming together, I fell in with the characters. I fell into their charm. It's still more actor charm than character, but somebody pointed out that, I don't even know the characters' names. That's how much I don't know them. That Jonathan Bailey and Scarlett Johansson in this are just Milo and the white chick character from Atlantis, The Lost Empire. And I was like, yes, they fucking are. And actually, that makes me like them a little better. So I enjoyed it, especially when the family came in. And off of that charm, and what I actually thought was pretty damn intense, simple dinosaur scares and scenes, I was like, okay, cool. I'm good with this. Until the end, knocked it right back down a little bit. But the very, very end. But once they all came together, I was on board. I knew what I was looking for, and I coasted on everybody's charm, except one fucking character.
Real quick, I'm going to quote the great Jeff Alterman real quick. And when he said, I can tell you where the disconnect was with the characters, because they're like, here, we're giving you nothing to latch onto. And here's just exposition, and we hope you latch on to their histories via exposition, because that's all they gave us. But Nick, how did you feel about the film?
I align with Rue after hearing what he said more than I thought I was going to. To me, I like this movie better if it's just Manuel and his family. I don't need Scarlett. I don't need Bailey. I don't need Mahershala. Just a bare bones, families on a boat trip, dinosaurs show up out of nowhere, and they have to deal with it. And the thing that kind of enhances that point, if you think about it, is aside from the I'll call it rock climbing, the wall scaling, all the good dinosaur action happens with Manuel and his family.
Yeah.
Until the very end in the gas station, all the memorable scenes, the raft scene, everything, the boat at the beginning, everything is kind of mid that comes with Bailey, Scarjo, and Mahershala.
Here's the thing. They don't, but Bailey, Scarjo, and Mahershala don't really have any singular moments. A lot of the moments they get with dinos are shared with Manuel and his family. So
I have a counter to that, but yeah, I'll keep going.
That's the only point I was about to make. It's like that they have one or two scenes that are just them with dinos, and both of them are more so trying to get the dino DNA rather than having to survive everything around them, which Manuel and his family had to. Which that I agree. Those portions of it were better than that, and but a lot of the best sequences were when both parties were together for me.
So
I had to look it up just so that we can make it easier. They're the Delgado family.
Yes.
Yeah, Delgado family. Here's where I'll say there is a memorable. There's two memorable scenes for me. The most memorable scenes of this movie. Nick, you talked about it before we got on, and I hope it's everybody's scene that they love. It's the river scene. I was extremely enthralled with that scene because it gave me scares that I've never seen in Jurassic, or I haven't seen in a Jurassic film in a long time. It's very similar to the kitchen scene, where it's not like big action packs. It's just intense and it's tension more than action. However, I have also never felt wonder like I felt in Jurassic Park until this movie. The scene with the Giganotosauruses and them together and them looking at it, I kind of had chills in that scene. And that did not have the Delgado family. The second thing of blood that they got, I thought that scene was beautiful. I thought that scene was wondrous. I thought that scene finally took us to that other point of Ellie and Alan taking their sunglasses off and looking in awe. I felt that. So like that also gave a lot of goodwill for me. Those two scenes kind of in the same section of the movie gave me a lot of goodwill to just bank off the rest. That you were right. It's simple. Give me people in dangerous situations with dinosaurs in action, and you got a good enough time.
Titanosaurus is what you're talking about.
The what? Titanosaurus, not Giganotosaurus. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
The issue I have with that scene, which I felt that like chill down my spine. This felt like a Jurassic Park movie, not Jurassic World movie, Jurassic Park movie, because I'm speaking about it positively. Is it could have been so much better. And this was the first thing that the second thing. The first thing in sitting in this movie was the world's most dangerous Snicker wrapper. That was ridiculous.
Hilarious.
But the second thing that really irked me and genuinely pissed me off was the introduction of Mahershala Ali's character, I believe, and they just throw in the theme without any rhyme or reason to have it. When they're at the very beginning, it's just kind of in the background. It's just the old Jurassic Park's theme. It means nothing.
Well, they do that throughout the series all the time, so I can't be really upset by it.
No, they don't. They do it in Jurassic World, but they're very smart with that. And remember, we're here looking for something
when I say the
what
series, I view Jurassic World as a separate series, kind of from Jurassic Park. Like I view it as a sequel series. It's not like when we talk about, I'll talk about the Jurassic series, but in this case, the Jurassic World series does that a lot, is what I'm saying. Where they just use the theme at random points.
I think the point is we were all going into Rebirth hoping we weren't getting more Jurassic World from what it was. We were looking for something more akin to Jurassic Park. If that scene with the two dinos not making love, but like having their intimate moment is the first time that you hear that theme, it hits so much harder. And that is the first time in the movie, even though I did like the part with the Delgado family in the boat at the beginning. That was the first time in the movie when those dinos popped up and that moment happened that I felt like I was in a Jurassic Park movie. And I felt that chill, just like you said, Rue.
Yeah.
But I think they did so much negative will in that first hour that it muted everything that came after it. And honestly, like the raft scene is very good, but the raft scene also is notable that it's from the original novel.
Yeah.
And it's Alan and the kids. So you can't even give too much credit
because it wasn't original to the film.
Because it's not an original idea.
Yeah.
And it's a movie filled with original ideas. So when the best part of it is the thing that you had nothing to do with, in terms
I'm not going to knock the film or them for doing that, because like
I'm going to give it praise for them finally doing it. That's
because it's like every movie since you're like, yo, where's the raft scene? Yo, where's the raft scene? Mm-hmm. Gareth Edwards and that team recognizing this is the perfect place to finally deliver on something that everybody's been wanting to see, and they deliver like crazy. That is actually, to me, that's intelligent. To me, that's smart. But I will agree again that the beginning really put you off on a wrong foot. I want to go to the guy that mirrors the movie for me that I hated. With
I was about to let me get there because I was about to.
Sure. Just know they grew on me, but golly.
I do want to say one more thing about the raft scene before we jump, though, because I'm not faulting the movie for including it. I think it's a very clear point I need to make. If the best part of the movie, the original movie, is something that you've taken from the source material of the Jurassic Park films, to me, that spotlights all the deficiencies that are throughout the movie otherwise.
Yes.
And to me, I don't fault Gareth. I don't think this really feels like a Gareth movie a lot of times.
It doesn't.
But it's the screenwriting. It's David Koch that's the biggest fault here to me.
Yeah. So I know we were talking a lot about the Delgado family, and Rue is about to steal my thunder about talking about. But there's one member of the Delgado crew, I won't even say family, who damn near derails the film for me. I think Rue feels similar. Rue said he grew on him. I did not have that feeling because it was a half-assed redemption attempt. It's the fucking boyfriend. Like I was waiting for. Yes, I don't care. I'm just the boyfriend. This character's so fucking annoying. He doesn't get a name. He's the boyfriend. I was waiting and praying. Again, I saw this movie twice. I knew he survived, and I was still praying. I'm like, come on, let me just tell me that wasn't a complete cut. Let me just see this motherfucker die, because I was so fucking annoyed. Like, oh.
See, here's my thing. The entire time I was thinking about it, I was thinking about Téa Leoni in Jurassic Park 3 and how much I hate Amanda Kirby with the passion throughout the entire film. She is idiotic, dumb, gonna get her son killed, got everybody else killed. I hate her character. And at no point in the entirety of Jurassic Park 3, which I personally think is a little bit underrated, that's the funnest movie in the entire franchise. To me, the funnest, not the best, but
Second
like the most.
I would agree.
Yeah, the most fun because it's packed and you just got thing after thing after thing. Anyway, I hate her. There's 2 points in which, 2 reasons why, even though I still don't like his character, he didn't take the throne of most annoying character, is because they leaned into his character to make others better, and they gave him genuine things to make you be like, okay, well, one, dude jumped in for his girl with no hesitation. That was the quick thing that you're like, okay, cool. But more than that, and it also, for me, highlighted how good Manuel Garcia Rufo was the scene at the fireplace where he is basically shitting on himself. And Papa Delgado says, the world is shitting on ourselves all the time. You don't have to do that yourself. That actually gave us introspection to Xavier as a character. And while I still hate him and would really have enjoyed if he got the Zara treatment from Jurassic World, and just completely shitted on, I accepted his character as a full-fledged human being that is annoying as fuck, but not completely redeemable.
I don't feel the same way. I didn't love him, but I didn't love him. Like, he annoyed me a little at first, but I think he served a purpose. I think the saddest thing you can say is he's probably the most fleshed out character in the entire movie.
I'm giving everything to Papa Delgado because I think Papa Delgado is also pretty fleshed out.
I was about to say,
I think Xavier gets the most range of stuff. Sure.
He's very good. Like, he's much better than him, but in terms of like character backstory and character motivation, like, he really is just kind of the father who's struggling with the 2 daughters, and you get a little bit about the relationship with his ex-wife or wife. I don't know if they specify, but
they never specify.
You know.
Yeah, you get kind of the beginning, middle, and end. You get where Xavier's from. You get a character arc, and you really don't have that. Like, Manuel is who he is at the beginning, at the end. Both
just
daughters are who they are at the beginning, at the end. Like, there's no arc. Scarlet is, in my opinion, the worst character in the movie.
Sorry, there's no arc for that fucker.
I think that scene gives him a pretty good arc of, like, again, kind of backing off of the bullshit.
That's the size of the arc. It's the smallest arc ever, and I fucking hate it.
You're talking about a movie that y'all can't stand. So any small little arc is going to be the best arc.
I can still sit here and say it's the 4th best in the franchise. I will sit here and say it goes Jurassic Park, Lost World, Jurassic World Rebirth, Jurassic Park 3, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion. I can sit here and say confidently those are my rankings.
Those are not high bars to pass.
I know, but that's my point. I only think the first 2 are actually good films.
But anyway, I think again, Xavier grew on me, even though I was annoyed as hell with him, and so did the movie for the same reasons. The start, the exposition, the just connecting with the actors instead of the characters, and then going into the simplistic in a good way. This movie is doing what it's supposed to do, is why it grew on me. But that ending, that ending, yeah.
So that keep in mind that ending is also studio interfered. Like Gareth Edwards essentially came out and said, like, yeah, we had, and this is a spoiler if you saw it, we had Mahershala die at the end originally, and the studio came back and was like, hey, can you like not have Mahershala die instead? Huh, maybe? And it's like, why? Just let it be. And I'm gonna shout out my buddy Brian here. I was hanging out with him the other night, and he brought up you could still have Mahershala not die, make it seem like he did die, and it's the perfect setup for a sequel because you know this is gonna make money. Where it's now Zara's coming back to this island to rescue him as he's made his way surviving across the island over some span of time.
So no. No, because one thing I will give this as a positive, I do think we're getting more Jurassic films. I don't think we need any more of these characters. There was no reason to have a continuation of their story. And even in interviews, Gareth Edwards has said that he made this to be kind of a one-off.
And I'm glad he did, but Universal always is going to have different ideas.
Because maybe they'll take more risks if they're able to do that. Like, maybe you don't want to do a trilogy of Jurassic that leans into the horror, but maybe you're more open to doing a one-off that does. Because to me, that's a big thing that's been missing, is those moments from Jurassic Park. And they did it once. They did it once in Fallen Kingdom on the roof. That was like a genuine like horror moment with the dinosaurs on the roof. But this story, like, I need to see a full-fledged horror film in this world. And the one positive I left, not one positive, but one of the positives I left Rebirth was I don't have to spend time with these characters anymore. I might, but I don't have to. And for all the Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, their trilogy, you always knew you were going back to those characters. And I like that this story is kind of over, and all they've done is a little bit of world building in admittedly confusing and overdone ways, but I don't think we need to see any more of anyone in this film.
Yeah, I like, the ending of bringing Mahershala back didn't bother me. What bothered me is that it was anticlimactic as hell.
It was anticlimactic. I also hate, real quick, adding on to the anticlimacticness of it all, I also hate they spent the entire pre-marketing campaign leading up to this movie talking about this new D-Rex mutant dinosaur just for us to have it for like a total of 4 or 5 minutes.
You know what? I didn't mind the D-Rex. I actually thought it was scary. It was menacing.
Cool. I didn't like how it was utilized, is what I'm saying.
That again, I thought it was scary. I thought it was menacing, and I thought they gave it enough time. Except you ended with him doing the flare, him thinking he's dead, and then they go in the boat and it walks away. There's no final like. There's no like exciting lead up to Mahershala's fake death. There's no them like running away from him in a final swipe. It's just him, the D-Rex staring at them, getting in the boat, and then it turns around and walks away. And I was like, that's how you're finishing it? There's no big last hurrah for this D-Rex thing. Don't kill it. You don't even gotta kill it off. But like that was it. That felt like the middle of the D-Rex's action sequence. Like, there's an extra step here. Where's the action? And then it ended. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I actually thought, I don't think there's an action sequence here that doesn't work. Shout out to being hilarious enough to give Ed Screen 2 minutes of screen time just to get his ass off that screen. But every action sequence, and for me, and every use of the dinosaurs worked really well for me, actually. It's just the execution of like how long and how it ended and the exposition before it. So I didn't mind it. I think your point of them coming back, Nick, it is a really interesting point, because I could see them coming back just because, again, I think if these 3 main actors was given a script to really build their characters, this would deliver as a movie. But you're right. There is no, like, you can go with the whole pharmaceutical, give the cures to the entire world thing and see what that does. But this could be a one-off. So that's an interesting point that I didn't think of. So.
Yeah, I think, and like, it's not to fault any of the actors involved. I like the little wrinkle of Jonathan Bailey training under Alan Grant. I thought that was a nice little like wink to. Sorry?
He said same.
Yeah, I like that. But at no point in this film was I going, oh, I hope this character doesn't get it. Except for Manuel. That was the only one I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't die sacrificing his family. But the stars of the film, the headline names, they all could have gone. And that was the thing. Like, I didn't feel the stakes in this one. Like, I think at the beginning you knew Rupert Friend was going to go.
Yep.
Because of the kind of character he was playing. And it kind of felt the whole way through that the other three were going to survive. They made you think for a little bit Mahershala was going to sacrifice himself, as he did kind of the Jeff Goldblum mirror from Jurassic Park with the flare. But then they didn't do it. And it felt like, what was the point?
Yeah. I just laugh because this movie is going to, again, make all the money in the world. And when not speaking to us, people really like this film. The people who are not in the movie spaces like this film. And I'm like, hey, good for y'all. Good for Jurassic. You're going to keep making money. At least, again, this is better than Dominion and one half of Fallen Kingdom. And if you just keep getting better and better, you will eventually get back to like The Lost World and maybe more. So that's what I'm hoping for. I at least left the theater with like, that was a fun time that did not disappoint me because this series is already at a very low bar for me. I feel better coming out of this than I have in a Jurassic World movie in a long time. I could continue with these characters. I can move on to different ones if you all continue to just keep it a simple fucking story and a simple formula. And that's where I'm at. I'm like, cool, good. We're going to get another one. Maybe they continue learning and maybe they can get a better screenwriter.
That's fair. I mean, I'm hoping we don't get another one, but that's just me personally. Hey, what can you do? Either way, we know that we're going to be sat there and watching it and giving our thoughts on it because that's what we do here. We didn't talk about how smart of a decision it was to undo the damage that the previous two Jurassic World films did by bringing the dinosaurs to the mainland, and how they logically explained it to where it made perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was a smart decision. Like, the biggest disappointment of Dominion was not making it Planet of the Dinosaurs, like Planet of the Apes did. They should have made it Planet of the Dinosaurs, or more focus on that, because there were the black market stuff was actually pretty fun in Dominion for me. But like, moving on and finding a way to like people to live with dinosaurs and have it. Yeah, I think that was one of the few smart screenwriting aspects of this film.
Yeah. Nick, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's funny because I actually have been wanting the dinosaurs to go to the mainland, but both times they've done it poorly. So the idea that you could do it maybe third time's a charm and you can do it from scratch, but yeah, the way they did it wasn't good. So I like that they stopped that. And I do think one other thing about this film that probably gets noticed, which is sad, but also a very authentic way to look at things, is the idea of people just getting bored of dinosaurs once they have them.
Yep.
And that they're dying in the streets, and that the youth don't care anymore. What was once this mystical being that you could look at, now they're just on to the next thing because Gen Z's got an attention span of like 30 seconds at times. So yes. I think that was realistic.
Actually, I think it's hilarious because I don't think it's realistic, because how much money is this fucking movie going to make in the box office? We keep coming back to see dinosaurs. So I thought it was a fun twist on like, this is what should be happening, but we're going to keep making money because people keep wanting to see dinosaurs again and again and again in the movie theater.
But we only want to see them because we don't actually have them, Rue.
True.
Once we have them, I totally think that this is It reminds me of that horror movie Talk to Me that came out, where everything became about, oh, this fun, cool thing that we can go viral about. And I do like that because that's become such a big part of our society now with a lot of the youth, that they're looking at this in films. They're looking at it. Sounds ridiculous to maybe older people, but the idea of the way that people would react to this thing in these upcoming generations, so different to the wonder and stuff that we had growing up. And I think that I like the idea of movies looking into that a little bit more and not making fun of it, because that's just kind of the way of the world now.
Yeah.
But I also think it's them reflecting on who they are as a franchise now, because the Jurassic World films have become a series of diminishing returns. Each film did less than its predecessor. So it's them saying like, hey, and that's why I thought it was like even though it might not be intended that way, a nice little double meaning of, hey, we get it. We messed up. We brought them to the mainland, did a piss poor job at it. Let's take you back to the islands where these stories have been the most successful, and let's try to rebuild this bridge and regain your trust by going back to formula to a certain degree.
And I mean, Matt, you can be the guy in the chair here, but I'm pretty sure it's surpassed its early box office expectations already.
I think
I've seen that already.
I think
Yeah.
worldwide it has.
Who are we to talk?
But
poorly of this film?
also, I don't know if it's. I feel like its box office number is slightly inflated because the amount of people I have talked to and seen on social media post about how they have strictly bought a ticket to see the Odyssey trailer. Like, and I think that's something we got to factor in with this.
Look,
Like,
that's the smart marketing.
It
They
is.
got the money. It doesn't matter what
It
people
is.
watch.
Exactly. And that's I want to give credit there. Like, hey, we know people aren't really excited for this. That's why we made it the screen unseen. Like, when they made it the screen unseen movie and the embargo still wasn't up for a week, I was like, oh, that tells me all I need to know about this movie. And so, like, they wanted to get a week's worth of positive word of mouth from general audiences before reviews even got unembargoed. And then you attach arguably the most anticipated film of next year's trailer to it, and it's only attached to this movie and no other films out currently. That's brilliant marketing.
Great marketing. I apologize to anyone who went and saw it for that reason, because it's a pretty nothing trailer, pretty nothing teaser.
Okay. Just to clarify, projections are that this is going to open higher than Fallen Kingdom's global start.
Yeah. But the last two films each fell off quickly. And I think this is at risk of doing the same thing, because I don't think any other Jurassic World film opened up this close to a film like Superman. Except maybe the original.
Yeah, you got a point there. You do. So.
And you have Superman, and then 2 weeks after Superman, you have the Fantastic Four. So, like, it's really going to be interesting to see what kind of staying power this film really has going forward.
True. Very true.
I think there is something to be said about whether you want to believe in superhero fatigue or not. I'm not saying that these movies aren't going to make the money, but I do think that there is a large audience that wants to see something in the blockbuster world that isn't superhero. And I think that's something where Jurassic Park will appeal to a lot of people, including people who haven't gone to the movies in a while, because they get a lot of the Marvel and the DC when you're talking these big blockbuster films.
Absolutely. But with that, folks, thank you to Amarú and Nick for joining me on this episode where we just took that dino-sized bite out of Jurassic World Rebirth. I want to tell you guys to like and subscribe to this channel. We have we have Superman coming up either later this week or early next week. Fantastic Four a few weeks in advance, or a few weeks early, or later. You know what I mean. And then this channel is working on putting together some fun and interesting content going forward, so keep an eye out for that. Go ahead and follow these two men on the website, and follow the website in general where all those fantastic writers are. And and you can follow me over besides here at my personal channel, Lot Real Entertainment. So it's going to be a fun time. Follow all of us. We all do some great things.
And also comment below what
yes.
you want to see on this channel. Like, we're doing this whole thing here. We're coming up with our own ideas. We watch a lot of movies. We get to see a lot of movies early. We're lucky about that. tell us what you want to see us talk about. Do you want to see us do bigger bites on older movies? Do you want to see us do different things than bigger bites? Do you want to see us do deep dives? Like, we're open to everything. You just have to let us know what you, the audience, are looking for.
And that man's the man to talk to because he's the boss of it all. But with that, folks, signing off. I am Matt. That is Rue, and that is Nick. And this was another Bigger Bite. We'll see you next time.
Peace.